So, Rematch has problems. So I made a video about a month and a half ago talking about how I thought that dribbling was not very strong, defending was way too easy, and just overall going into detail. Or I didn't go into that much detail about my problem with the game, and that's why I'm making this video right now. But just to quickly summarize, and guys, remember that this specific part really only happens in high level, like the highest level of games. So keep that in mind, okay? So I can some people might just not relate, and if they are good at the game, maybe they don't go against good players. But anyway, the dribbling part is really going to be prevalent in the high level lobbies, but I am going to focus on other problems in the game in this video. But in this specific part, yeah, it's going to be really only prevalent in high level games, so keep that in mind. I'm not saying that this is going to be how it is for everyone in every lobby, but just what I've noticed, what I've seen, how it is in the highest level play, highest level tournaments. And this is going to be relevant and important to me because these are the lobbies that I usually have been in, and when I see how low quality, let's just say bad, how bad the gameplay was, how bad the gameplay is, I obviously personally did not like that. That's why I'm making that argument in the first place. But I don't think that should even matter. I think that we should all be objective and criticize the game on all fronts. We don't have biases. We don't have any ignorance. We can just help this game actually improve and try to make it fun for everyone, right? Anyway, my point about dribbling being bad was that I'm going to go in detail later, but to summarize, dribbling is not effective, and it really only ever is effective if the defender lunges for the ball. Defense is really easy. Defense is so easy that there's not really a reason to lunge for the ball, because for a multitude of factors I'll go into later. So this in turn makes it so that the only time you really ever to dribble past someone is when the defender just makes a bad mistake. Now, one other huge problem in the game that I did not really talk about that actually directly relates to this and people's perception on this issue is how bad the matchmaking system is. For some reason, you can basically just get into any lobby with any skill level of players, and don't even get me started on the ranked. And obviously, this does come down somewhat to the fact that the game doesn't have that many players, so they can't really split up the player base any more than it already is. The thing is, they also did this when the game was at its peak too, but to be fair, that was early in the game, so we can excuse that, I guess. But anyway, I always say that to my perspective of dribbling being bad, there's three perspectives in the community. And the one that my take resonates with is definitely not a majority, but I talked about it in my last video, but I'm gonna just quickly summarize it right now. So perspective one is the bad players who go against the good players. And the bad players who go against the good players are usually going to get cooked. They're gonna get cooked. They're gonna be, and not only will they be dribbled past just every play of the game, but the dribbles that the high level players are using are also going to be glitchy exploits, right? So the focus of the low level players will usually be on the glitchy aspect of this problem, even though that's not even true. I believe that if the game did have a natural good dribbling system, there still would be complaints about dribbling being overpowered. I think the core problem of that is the fact that they're facing better players. I don't think it's the glitchy aspect. I think the glitchy aspect plays a good amount of the role, and I'm gonna go into that more later. But yeah, perspective one is usually gonna think that dribbling's overpowered. Some of them might think that it's in the good spot. Perspective two, this is gonna be the good players who play against the bad players. Now, I know this personally because I've talked to some people. Not to call anyone out, but I've played with some of these perspective 2 players. I've talked with them, and yeah, they're going to be the good players who go against bad players. And they're going to think that dribbling's in a good spot, and they're going to think this because they're able to effectively dribble against worse players. And I feel like this perspective comes with a bit of a lack of awareness, and especially self-awareness, because I know personally I am able to easily dribble bad players. I do this very often, but I'm still able to see past that and understand that this problem is still here. Perspective 2 is going to be the good players who go against the bad players. And perspective 3 is going to be the one that this resonates the most with, and that's the good players versus the good players. Because the good players versus the good players, those lobbies are going to be usually stalemates, usually boring, usually not creative whatsoever, and this gets worse the higher the level of play goes, which is kind of funny, because usually most games get more creative the higher level the play is, but in Rematch it's actually kind of the opposite. And yeah, they're gonna, if they really think about it enough, and most of them will realize it, maybe they don't fully realize what the problem is, and that's why I want this video to be, you know, known to them, because I want them to really realize what the problems they're having is, or are. That's correct grammar. The problems they're having are. So yeah, perspective 1, bad versus good. Perspective 2, good versus bad. Perspective 3, good versus good. And there is a sneaky perspective 4, which is going to be the people who just want dribbling to be better just because they like dribbling. They don't really care about like the game design, the gameplay loop itself. They just want to have better dribbling. They're going to usually agree with me, but not for the reasons I'd want them to agree with me. But yeah, and that's how the matchmaking system really ties into this, because this wouldn't happen in the first place if good players were always against good players, and average players were always against average players, and bad players were always against bad players. And more so, the matchmaking system also leads to having bad teammates, which can make this problem even worse. And overall, the matchmaking system is terrible. I'm actually pretty sure that in ranked, the way that the system like decides fair teams is by total MMR. So for example, 1 elite, 4 bronzes would usually get matched with like 1 elite, or against 1 elite and 4 bronzes, or like 5 plats, diamonds, is that correct math? Yeah, something like that. It's just really weird, and I know that it's because of the player count too. I think that's why. I actually can never really tell with these devs, but yeah, I really do want to specify and focus on the fact that I am not just saying this just to purely hate in the game. Like, I don't hate the game. The game's not bad. I'm being hypercritical and I'm being objective. But this game is good. But in this video, yes, I'm going to address issues so that may seem like I'm hating, but no. I'm just being hypercritical. Okay? I would say that casual players, because obviously, you know, my perspective in my last videos were usually from, you know, just a high level lobby perspective, and obviously this is probably not the best because it doesn't, you know, it's not even the majority of the community, so they won't even relate to me. They're probably going to disagree with me for the reasons I stated. And the thing is, the casual players also have problems too, and those need to be addressed as well, because obviously my problem with the game, my main problem with the game is most likely not going to be what an average player thinks is a problem with the game. I would say that the casual player problems are usually how glitchy the game is, how buggy, gimmicky is the word I like to use, how gimmicky the gameplay is, and usually it's going to be down to these better players they go against, and how unfun that can be. I think more so, I would say that the average players, and I would relate to this too, because obviously, you know, I was worse at one point. I think that really the biggest problem with the casual players, besides just bugs, is teammates. I think that in a team game like soccer, teammates really can decide how fun the game is, and I know this very, very well. And yeah, this comes down to the matchmaking system, because there needs to be some sort of way that tracks how good players actually are, to actually get those good players together. All these Mickey Mouse bad players who never pass, don't know how to dribble, terrible at the game, those people need to be in lobbies together until they get their act together. I don't want to see average players who actually want to get better at the game, even bad players, stuck with these idiots. This is not fun for them. It's terrible for the game. Your game's gonna die because of that, and also causes a sort of scapegoating, yes, because the casual players, those casual players might actually attribute these problems to dribbling. Like, they're gonna think, oh, they don't want to pass, just nerf dribbling. Oh no, it's because dribbling's so good. That's why. And these glitchy exploits, they're impossible to guard, and they need to be taken out. It's the biggest problem in the game, right? They're not gonna actually focus on the real problem, the biggest problem here, and that's the teammates. The teammates is the problem. I'm sorry, bro. Jimmy, just because Jimmy has worse dribbling at his disposal, it's not going to change the way he thinks. He's still going to be an idiot usually until he, realizes it. That does not fix the problem whatsoever. And matter of fact, it makes everything worse because then the people who are good dribblers and good passers are going to be nerfed as a result. And I think this discourse that I have also comes from hugely from the fact that people think that when I say I want dribbling to be better, they think I'm saying I want dribbling to be easy. I have never said that. I think the exact opposite. I do not think that dribbling should be easy whatsoever. It should be, the reason that the dribbler usually has the advantage against the defender is because of how much harder dribbling is. Usually, in a 1v1, isolated. So I do not think it should be easy to do. And this is worse because these exploits that these high-level players or just dribblers use are all easy to do. The only one that's mildly difficult is the golden boost, and even that's easy. And I'm gonna go more into this later, but yes, I think that casual players, I think the real problem comes from the matchmaking and teammates and bugs and just gimmicky gameplay. I think that's where their real problems come in. Or I'll go more in depth about this stuff later in the video. I'm just getting some of the basis, the foundation of this video and what I am talking about now. Now, before I get into detail about the dribbling system and used in higher level, that's mainly what I'm talking about. But before I get into that, I'm going to talk about the other problems the game has. Okay, so firstly, there are multiple situations where you tackle an attacker, you tackle the person with the ball, and they either don't get stunned or they literally just keep the ball. This removes the high risk, high reward from attacking plays completely when this happens. And like I'm saying, there needs to be risk and reward for dribbling too. And not because it's bad, but because it takes skill and because, it's fluid. It's ridiculous that an attacker can get punished, they get tackled, and then they keep the ball, they don't get stunned. That's not smooth, it's tedious, it's annoying. It's bad, it's bad. Second other problem is going to be the priority system is still really weird. I'm not really sure how it even is supposed to work. It does work the way it's supposed to, a good amount of the time. I would say 70% of the time. But there's still moments where someone behind you gets the ball. And I think one thing that really hurts this is the fact that it can a lot of the times make one person challenge the ball while the other person just stays on the ground, which is just kind of weird and doesn't really make sense. I mean, there's plays, aerial duels, one player goes up to kick it or header it and one other person blocks it. And the thing is, this causes a sort of this actually has not been really fully focused on and abused fully. And if people do abuse it, they're not fully aware of why. But this also causes this gameplay problem where the only way to block it, because the priority system will just make you stay on the ground, the only way to block it is to dive. And this can create something where you just dive out of the way and they fake you out. And thank God this has not been focused on, but this is terrible. Because it basically just forces you into a bad situation. And like I said, I'm not just fully anti-defending and just pro-dribbling. But yeah, this is a terrible gameplay loop. Hopefully no one watches this and, tries to start abusing that. Or tries to fully focus their, dribbling style and whatever, just gameplay on this. But yes, this creates a terrible gameplay loop where you either risk priority, where you stay down and they get a free shot, free pass, or you have to die. That's the only way you can block it. And if they fake you out, I mean, because of how defending works, you don't get punished that bad, but it's still pretty annoying. I would say it's pretty annoying, pretty tedious, and it doesn't make any sense. I think that priority systems should really come down to timings, much more, and positioning. So there should be some timings where it's so close where you guys both challenge the ball. That way you don't just have to either dive out of the way, risk getting faked, and you're essentially forced to do that, or you can go for priority and then you might win it if you have better positioning, but in the chance that he just simply is better than, or simply not better, simply luckier than you, he just shoots it over your head. I think that's really gimmicky. It's not smooth, it's not fluid, it's tedious as shit. Okay, let's get that out of the way. And then speaking of tedious, spamming knock-ons, specifically the ones where you're not sprinting, spamming knock-on dribbles and rainbow flicks just makes defending so tedious. I even saw this video. Someone who's spamming normal knock-ons has the same amount of stamina usage as someone who's just running without the ball. I don't even think that's that big of a problem, honestly, but it is somewhat of a problem. And obviously, like I said, guys, I'm being hypercritical, okay? I'm being hypercritical. But I think the more important one is the rainbow flicks, okay? Because this comes into the priority system. They just spam rainbow flicks and rainbow flick and rainbow flick and rainbow flick and rainbow flick. And yes, this is really easy. This is easy to guard, right? You just stand in front of them. It's the same. It's all roads lead to Rome. But not everyone realizes this, and not even just realizes this. It's still just tedious, especially when they rainbow flick right into you and you have better positioning. They get priority again. They rainbow flick again. Rainbow flick again. Rainbow flick again. Like, it's just stupid. It's not realistic whatsoever. I know the game doesn't have to be super realistic, but it's more importantly, it's just incredibly tedious, and no one wants that. I don't think anyone likes defending that. I've seen that complaint multiple times, and I don't know if they have a way to fix it. But the thing is, with the way that slow clap operates, when they do fix it, they're probably going to make something else worse in return. They need to stop this equivalent exchange patching. I don't get why they fix one problem and make everything else worse. It doesn't make sense. They need to play their own game, but I'm not going to go much into that because I don't know much about game developing. But yeah, overall, this game just feels gimmicky and not smooth, and lots of small things cause this, just glitches, weird animations, weird priorities, and it's basically just everything I just said, kind of just like, you know, watered down mix, and just glitches. It's just gimmicky. It doesn't feel very smooth, and people, you know, they'll shit on FIFA, they'll make fun of FIFA for, you know, maybe some valid reasons, but FIFA is infinitely smoother than Rematch. And yes, FIFA has been a developer for so many years, and obviously I'm not like shitting on Rematch just completely for this, because obviously, yes, there's gonna be problems, but I feel like are they even trying to fix this? Like, are they trying to make the gameplay smoother? Because they don't say anything. I know they're gonna make a timeline soon, but I don't know if they're trying to fix this. So if it comes off as me just being ignorant, I'm sorry. I'm not saying that they're not. This is just a problem. And if it's a problem, I think I have the right to point it out, right? Even if they're trying to fix it, it's because it's just the truth, right? And yeah, like I said earlier, when the devs fix one thing, 3 more get added. Now, fifth problem: stalling and time wasting, especially in 3v3 ranked. I'm not even completely sure how this can be fixed. I've seen ideas of having a shot clock and smaller field, and more specifically, and I think this one is good for every game mode, I do not think the keeper should be able to pick up passbacks. And if they are able to pick up passbacks, it should be like once. Or there should be like a time, I mean, like once. Like, they should not be able to pick up passbacks. I guess maybe in some small-sided, like, soccer, football games, they allow keeper to pick up passbacks. But there's a reason that this was removed from, you know, the 11v11. It's kind of ridiculous. You should not be able to just pick up passbacks and get pass out and then pass back and pick it up. That's another, you see, it's just another tedious and gimmicky thing. Yeah, and installing and time wasting, yes, big problem in 3v3s. I do have some ideas how to fix that, but I think that there's already been some good ones suggested, so I won't go more into that. Yeah, sixth reason is that performance should be tracked a little differently / better, and this could also help with the game giving you better teammates or more equal teammates. There needs to be a stat that is efficiency, right? Because, for example, like I said in my last video, because I was talking about random teammates, but yeah, I talked about how like I simply just won't get MVP or good stats because I don't touch the ball, or that's essentially what I was saying. You know what I'm saying? Because like isn't it kind of stupid for Joe, to your teammate Joe? He's terrible. He has terrible decision making, but he touches the ball way more than you and never passes. And because of that result, he has more passes than you. But the thing is, he has more pass attempts / more dribbles lost, right? So let's say that you have 6 out of 7 passes completed, right? But Joe has 8 passes but 25 attempts. Like, this needs to be tracked, especially when it comes to finding good teammates. And I know that this could cause some problems with like playmakers, because you need to take risks, but I think to some degree this should be a thing. Maybe not necessarily passing, like pass attempts, unless it's really bad, but especially like dribbles lost, like when you're holding the ball and you lose it, something like that, right? But that also could make the bad dribbling system even more annoying. So this kind of all needs to get fixed at once. But yeah. But yeah, I think one that needs to be no questions asked is your performance versus the enemy skill level. This has been a thing in virtually every competitive game ever. They need to add it as soon as possible. If you perform good against people who are so-called better than you in MMR, you should get rewarded for that more, with points, with your MMR yourself. Same with performing bad against worse people. And remember, this all is kind of nuanced because of the problems in the game. Because if you lose versus a better team versus the worst team, but it's because you touched the ball 3 times, that can be annoying. But that's why this all is like a collective thing. I don't think these things can all be added just one thing can be added. It's all kind of collective. Seventh small problem is that there is no proper report system or anti-thrower methods. How does an online multiplayer game have no good report system? How does it not have a good way to counter these anti-throwers? Like for example, if we're talking about an MMR system and all this should get their MMR in a dump. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they're just losing the ball, if they're leaving, if they're own goaling, this should literally bring them into lobbies with bronzes. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you guys get what I'm trying to say here? They're not even just anti-thrower methods, but especially the report system. We need a good report system, okay? Needs to happen. Every online multiplayer game needs this. Okay, 8th. This game has one of the worst ranking systems I've ever seen. Potentially the worst. Potentially. And I've already talked about the matchmaking, so you guys have a good idea if you want, if you didn't just skip to this point of why I think that. Terrible matchmaking system. Weird pairings, weird opposition. Like, you just go against people way worse than you or way better than you, and your teammates suck, but they're high rank, and you don't get punished nearly as much as you should be for being a bad player. So this results in just elite, for example, because I'm an elite. I've been an elite for a long time, and most of my teammates are all terrible. And in a realistic ranking system, they'd all be around a plat, around that level, average, maybe gold. And there should just never be bad players in the highest rank. Simple. And the matchmaking sucks. Like I said, one thing, you can solo queue and go against 5 stacks. Ridiculous. I'm gonna go a little more into that later. But okay. And then 9th is going to be the fact that the devs seem to have no particular direction. And this all sounds like I'm being really insulting, and I'm really sorry. But they don't seem to have a particular direction for where they want their game to go. They don't know if they want team play. They don't know if they want arcadey or glitchy, or or if they want it to be realistic, or if they want, it's kind of just a weird mix of all of them. Dribbling sucks, but hitboxes also suck. There's unrealistic hitboxes coupled with worse dribbling. And I guess I'm not really explaining this as good as I could. But they don't seem to have any particular direction of where they want to go. It seems to just be patching old bugs and the ones that they create. I could be wrong about this, and finally, for this part of the video, the 10th and possibly one of the worst problems is the fact that this community is so incredibly ignorant, so incredibly impractical. They don't seem to actually want to fix the game. They just want to defend the devs and excuse everything. They don't know what the problems actually are. They can't see past their own biases. They're not objective, and overall, they're just ignorant. And I'll get more into this later, okay? Because I will get more into this later, so I'll try to refrain from saying too much here. But for example, someone when someone just tells you, hey, yeah, we need a better dribbling system because it sucks, and dribbling needs to be here because you need to use dribbling to create chances, and it's really a core part of the game, and whatever, you say all that, and then someone's like, just pass the ball. This is probably one of the lowest. This is a good way to see if someone has a low understanding of football. I've also come across people who think that passing is always good, right? Passing is not always the best play. I've seen multiple people give up a free opportunity, free shot on goal, free dribble into a great play because they just want to pass, because they think that passing is always the best play. Passing equals good. Not how that works. And just pass the ball is, if they're man marking you and dribbling sucks, who are you just gonna pass the ball to? You need to create some sort of space to open up lanes. That's how soccer works. Guys, listen, that's how football works. You could just pass the ball to your keeper, and then they could missile it, and all the gameplay that we saw in the high-level tournaments. But yes, just pass the ball. This is only applicable when it comes to people who do not want to pass the ball, even when it's a good option, okay? If you're talking about you need dribbling to create space, because that's how it works. Dribbling is a core part of this sport. You cannot remove it. That's not how that works. Football is not just passing. I've said this before, that the fear of dribbling is what makes passing work. Because when you have to worry about being dribbled past, and then you also have to worry about people around you. Because in this game, for example, like if your teammate's man-marking someone tightly, hitboxes basically make that a complete lockdown. But yeah, when you have to worry about all that, that can make you be forced into bad situations, where then open up passing lanes. And if passing is good, or sorry, if dribbling is good, then people could even use that good dribbling to actually create space, create those little bits of space to pass. Dribbling is a core part of soccer. Saying just pass the ball for everything is stupid, it's ignorant, it's impractical, and moving on. Okay, and this is coming from someone who is definitely a very, very good passer, by the way. I'm not just these pure exploit dribblers on TikTok. If you see me play, if you play with me, you know this, okay? Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about the defensive stance, okay? So the defensive stance, let's just kind of isolate these two players. The defensive stance is way too strong. I'm gonna call it jockeying sometimes, because that's what it is, like IRL, that's what it's called in real football. But in rematch, you have virtually no reason to lunge, because when you do jockey, you have nothing to worry about. You can, obviously this is partly because of the hitboxes and man marking, but you can, because the thing is that jockeying, it's supposed to make you slower, right? It gives you less chances of being beat, but you're slower, and this allows the possibility of getting paced, getting sprinted past. Like they build up momentum, they kind of shift your momentum to one side and then get past you. This is not a thing, and this is because this game has basically no acceleration or momentum physics whatsoever, and it's also because you can also just go from 0 to 100 while jockeying. Like you can go from jockeying to full speed in half a second. You can also immediately use your extra effort, and the hitbox makes it so much worse. There's an auto tackle mechanic that if the ball gets even like near your hitbox, you'll just automatically stop it. And overall, it's way too strong. And also, it uses no stamina. It uses no stamina whatsoever. So while the guy attacking you is using stamina, trying to find a way through, and this is true in real life too, obviously, but you use zero stamina. So what if they actually do manage to get past you by a miracle, and also because you're bad, you have full stamina to just get back on them. And guys, everything that I'm gonna say about dribbling, because I'm now in the segment about dribbling, the dribbling issue in higher level, everything about dribbling gets highlighted to the max. It gets put under a microscope in the 1v1 game mode. I played the 1v1 game mode, and people would literally pass you the ball so that they could just defend you and get a free. That's literally how the gameplay loop was going in my lobbies. If you guys don't see a problem with that, I don't know what to tell you. So let's say this guy's jockeying, he's going really slow, right? But this guy, he's kind of doing this, right? In real life, he might. This is really hard to put on, but he does this, right? And then this guy kind of shifts his momentum. He's going slow because he's jockeying, and then this guy does a cut, boom, boom, and now he's past him. This guy's behind him, but you can't tackle through someone in real life, and there's also no hitboxes, so he's kind of just beat right here, right? He could try to recover because obviously this guy could come in and block him, giving this guy space, and this guy could come around. But yeah, this is how real life soccer would go. No, that's not how it works in rematch. In rematch, you do this, all these fancy moves, golden boost, boom, boom. Okay, this guy comes and he commits, and you're going like almost full speed, and then you sprint past him, boom. Maybe you even have to use your extra effort, and then this guy uses extra effort and just tackles you, boom, their ball. And maybe I'm not painting this picture as good as I could, but I think I'm gonna save this diagram for a different topic, because it's kind of this part's kind of hard to it's hard for me to really formulate it. But yeah, its defensive stance is it has too many strengths and no downsides, and even less downsides because of how the gameplay is with hitboxes and man marking. Yes, okay. Now number 2, defenders do not get punished nearly enough for lunging. You can just lunge as many times as you want. Even if he did make you lunge right here, right? Boom, he goes past you. You lunge, you can immediately be fine, unstunned, and then either tackle him or get back in front of him. And this also is because Because also, when you get tackled in this game, you also can just use extra effort immediately. I don't think that immediate extra effort usage should be a thing if you get stunned or like you tackle. But yeah, there's not nearly enough punishing for lunging. I've stated multiple times, like, you know, in real life, in FIFA, and you know, Rocket League to an extent. If you lunge for the ball, you will get dusted. That's usually how that works. That's where the high risk, high reward from defending comes in. And that's why it's so impressive when someone locks someone down, because that was their one chance to get the ball and they got it. But when you can just lunge 5 times and you can lunge, and you're still on them, like that's just, not only is it bad, but it's not impressive. So yes, defenders do not nearly get punished enough for lunging. There needs to be more stamina consumption, a longer cooldown or recovery, whatever you want to call it. You need to get punished more for lunging. Okay, simple as that. And guys, remember, I'm being hypercritical. Okay, so I know I'm kind of like dissecting things, and it seems like I'm just, you know, a pure hater. No, I'm being hypercritical. Okay. And like I said, this is really only prevalent in like super high level, so it's fine. So anyway, in this game, there's also a lack of good moves to confuse the defender, right? Like there's no, like, it's just moves, like just moves overall. There's no body feints, except for like ippy slides and like these weird, like the only confusing moves are exploits. And even then, they're still not even that strong. If like people will think that these exploits are good and like this spam and turn your camera around is good, but it's only good because it's kind of confusing. But once you actually understand that you can just still stay in front of them, it's not as good as you think. But it's still confusing, so it still will work kind of sometimes. And yeah, but just in the base, normal dribbling, there's no confusing moves, there's no body feints, there's no fakes, there's no elasticos, there's no coquetas, there's no acceleration to like fake one direction, go the other one. Overall, like just the basic touches are not dynamic. Let's say he's here. In this game, if you do a sprint touch, the ball just goes here, and if you do a soft touch, it goes here. There's no dynamicness, there's no way to like go in between and kind of like be really fluid and control your movements. It's kind of just do a soft touch or do a sprint touch. That's it. But yeah, lack of moves to confuse defenders. And there's going to be more skill moves added. This was recorded before Season 2 released. Take that as you will. I know they're going to add some more skill moves, but obviously I don't even know what the skill moves are going to be, so they might not even be good enough. But I mean, the thing is, the skill moves by themselves wouldn't be good enough. And that's why I really hope that's not what they're trying to do. I really hope they don't think that just skill moves will fix defending. It might kind of put a band-aid on it because it'll be confusing at first, but then all these other problems will come into play and still make it suck. But yes, skill moves, or just moves, body feints, yes. Only confusing moves are exploits. Ridiculous. It just creates more discourse, it makes it more tedious, makes it more gimmicky, and maybe this game doesn't even want to be like super competitive, or like competitive and smooth. Maybe they just want it to be kind of, maybe they want it to be gimmicky, you know what I'm saying? But I guess, and if that's really their plan, then maybe this game is just not for me. But they've never, I mean, I don't know if they want that, so I don't know. But I personally don't like tedious, gimmicky, glitchy gameplay. So yeah, and all these moves are all weird. They're all glitchy. Like for example, like real life dribbling, like it's not glitchy. Like it might look like really hard to defend, but it's not, because obviously you can't fucking teleport. You know, they just need basic good. I think they just need good basic moves. And even like higher skill moves, like some 4-star, 5-star skill moves, like not this just turn around, teleport bullshit. No, let's talk about what dribbling looks like versus how it should look, right? So I personally think that I literally just said this, so this is kind of like what I was just saying. Dribbling should look smooth. It should be hard to read. It should be skillful. And one thing that I've noticed is that real life dribbling is kind of like going left to right, because obviously you want to get around them, right? You're kind of going left to right? You're trying to like fake them out, step overs. But in rematch, it's like the opposite. It's like you're going back and forth, and it's because of the push cut. Like you do that, and then you do that, and then you turn around and do that, and like it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I don't know if you guys like that. I don't think it's good. Let's look at what dribbling looks like at high level dribbling looks like versus, what I think it should look like. So sorry about this guy. Sorry if I'm calling you out. Yeah, I think he's a very good example of what high level dribbling looks like. I mean, This is just fucking ridiculous. And the thing is, guys, this looks flashy. This does look flashy, but the thing is, this is not even that effective. Look, his defenders are all training cones, and they could all be locking this down if they really wanted to. It looks flashy because he's spinning his camera around, but I mean, but like I said, like, yeah, that confusion. If you consider that confusion good dribbling, then I guess you can have that argument. But no. Either way, this is what it looks like. What is this? Guys, I've never seen Neymar do that, bro. I'm not gonna lie, Neymar's a magician. I've never seen him do that. And this is what all like the high level good dribblers are doing. Obviously, no one likes this. You can see the comment section. And like I said, like this isn't even good. All his defenders are training cones. If these guys just did defensive stance and stayed in front of them, they'd be fine. But no, they're just fucking running at him and tackling. Which is fine. I mean, it's a clip. It wouldn't be a clip if he didn't score it, right? Because I'm sure he does this multiple times, and then people who do know how to play defense lock him down. But yeah, that's stupid. Matter of fact, guys, you know what's funny? You know what's funny? I had clips of me on my TikTok where I was, cause like I said before, I don't like these this exploit weird ass gameplay, so I don't really use it. I'm mostly timing and use of space, very simple. Matter of fact, I played the 1v1 game mode and I tried to play kind of normally, and it didn't work. So then I like just started resorting to doing this weird, confusing exploit shit, and I just didn't like it. I don't know. It's not fun. It's gimmicky. It's tedious. Yes. And also, guys, like I was saying, on my TikTok, I have clips of me, dribbling past a bunch of people. Dude, there is this guy in my comment section who literally said that I dribble like an old fart. I dribble like an old fart. This is horrendous. Guys, this is what the community and the state of the game has gotten us into. People think that non-exploit dribbling makes you dribble like an old fart because I'm using the intended simple timing and use of space. And the best part is that in these clips, I am dribbling. I am dribbling good. I do this against the best good players, so-called good players too. So it's not even that. He's saying that I dribble like an old fart because I don't use these glitchy ass weird confusing gimmicky exploits which aren't even that good. That is a big problem. That's a big problem. And this also comes into the casual player base. They're gonna think when they see this exploit dribbling that they're gonna assume that that's amazing. That's super hard. That's what the high level dribbling should look like. No. First of all, it's pretty easy to do in the first place. And second of all, no, just because it looks flashy doesn't mean that it's good. Ridiculous. Now, dribbling's easiness versus effectiveness. And actually, hold on. I wonder if they're gonna golden boost or if they're gonna teleport. Those are both tackles in rematch. You see what I mean? All this small, cool, tight space dribbling is just not possible in rematch. And I really don't. I don't appreciate it, man. Because this, plays like this are just not possible. Simple. He gets tackled here, and he definitely gets tackled here. And speaking of that, guys, if you guys have made it this far in the video, do you guys think that nutmegging should be a thing in a rematch? I feel like that would also make some drawbacks to defensive stance, which could be good. Dribbling's easiness versus effectiveness. Okay, like I said before, when I say I want dribbling to be effective, I want it to be good. I am not saying I want it to be easy. These glitch exploits are all really easy to do, and they're all really confusing. They're not very effective once you realize it, but yes, they're all easy, and I think that dribbling should be skillful and effective. Dribbling should be hard to do. You should not be coming across good dribblers often, like the average player, or good dribblers, quote unquote, because dribbling should be hard. It should be hard and it should be effective. I'm not saying that I want to have two buttons, make me teleport, and then confuse a defender. I want just normal, skillful, effective dribbling. And this kind of ties into patch 7 because in this newest patch, I don't know when I release this video if it's out, but they made the push cut kind of push the ball further away, and honestly I don't think I like this. I think it's a step in the right direction for making dribbling better, because it does make dribbling better, but the thing is this also is just tedious to defend. I played the 1v1s and it was just tedious. They were just spamming these moves that is, and like I said, they made it really easy to do. It's really easy to do it, and it just makes defending so tedious. Like, yes, I was able to lock them down, but it wasn't like fun. He's just spinning around in circles. I don't think they should make dribbling easy. That's what they're doing. They basically just made it so that when you do a push cut, you now accelerate faster. That's just making it easier. Maybe it makes it a little more effective, but it's just making it easier, and it's making it tedious for defenders. And it's gonna make your problems. It's gonna make your the complaints that people have even worse, I think. At least for the people who don't want easy dribbling. And also, same with defensive stance. I think that if you get stunned and like the ball gets taken off of you, I don't think you should be able to use extra effort or a sprint immediately after getting tackled. I think you should not, you need to get punished harder just like for making these big mistakes. You know what I mean? You should not be able to extra effort immediately after getting stunned, immediately after lunging as a defender. All this. Now next up is the lack of acceleration and momentum physics. And I could talk about this for a really long time, but I'm gonna really summarize it. But in this game, there's virtually no momentum or acceleration physics unless you're running full speed. And yes, this is, obviously how it kind of works in real life. Like, yes, if you run, you're gonna have more momentum if you're going faster. Yeah, okay, Mighty. But no, like even like defensive stance, like when you're just like jockeying and moving, because you have to get in their way, right? You're not. There's no acceleration or momentum. Like I was saying earlier, if they go against your momentum, where you're going left or something like this, like they're going left, like there's no punishment because there's no momentum pushing them in that direction or acceleration. They'll just go from zero acceleration to 100%, and then immediately be back on you. Because the thing is that's why, like I said, that's why defending is so impressive in real life, because there's so many factors you have to take in physically. If you step in the wrong, it gets messy. If you just step in the wrong direction, you're dusted. You know what I mean? But there's none of that. No. Defensive stance is the end all be all in this game. There's no acceleration. You're going slow. He's going fast. He makes you move towards a direction, even if you don't lunge. And he changes acceleration. He's faster than you. He goes against your momentum, and you're still on him because there's just a lack of acceleration and momentum physics. I really do think that this is one of the low-key biggest problems in the game. I think this is one of the problems that affects the game the most, honestly, but also one that no one really realizes. I don't think anyone is really thinking about that that these physics don't really exist in the way they should. But yes, I think that this and hitboxes are probably the two biggest dribbling problems. And no one, I've never even seen people talk about this too, this momentum and acceleration. But this is really important because acceleration and momentum is really how dribbling works. That is dribbling. You make them commit one direction even if they don't lunge, and you go the other one. And since you're going faster, you get past him. Maybe. Unless he's a really good defender and doesn't fully fall for it, or he fakes. You know what I'm saying? The defensive stance is just the end all be all. There needs to be better acceleration and momentum physics. And to be completely honest, I don't think this ever will be a thing. I don't think they're ever going to truly fix this. But if there's just a small chance that they're watching this video with an open mind and they're looking into this with insight, if this video gets popular, I really want them to hear me out. I really do want them to hear me out. There needs to be better acceleration and momentum physics. I think that honestly is one of the biggest problems with the dribbling. Honestly. Because that really is what it comes down to. That's why I say that if you get dribbled past in rematch, you're a bot. Because there's no incentive to get dribbled. There's no incentive to lunge. I'm going to go into this more later. I'm going to go into this more later. But, yeah, because if you're a defender and you're aware of this lack of acceleration and momentum, you should be aware that you could just stand in front of them. That means that you're a bot if someone dribbles past you. That means that you did something clearly wrong, because the game physics should not allow you to do that unless you're just if you're a good player, if you have experience. So yeah, if the devs see this, please at least consider what I'm saying right now, please. All of this is not even mentioning the fact that you can tackle through people. Right? There's no fouls, right? So some situations where you barely dribble past someone in real life and someone wants to tackle you, those would be situations where it's a foul, or they just simply can't go through you, right? Yeah, I haven't even mentioned this, that you can tackle through people. On top of everything else, you can just tackle through people. And then I'm gonna move on, and then combine that and everything else with the hitboxes. That's the final nail in the coffin, because the hitboxes are quite frankly horrible, terrible. I'm sorry, okay? these hitboxes are like up there with Dead by Daylight's hitboxes, bro. If you know, you know. Man, I'll probably be playing clips of what I'm talking about. Dude, let's say I'm the blue guy with the ball. Dude, I've had situations, multiple. This is not anecdotal. This is anecdotal, but this is not like one random rare scenario. I'm talking like, honestly, nowadays I really only lose the ball, and you know, this doesn't happen very often, obviously, because I'm insane, obviously. No, I'm kidding. But I really only lose the ball to these hitboxes because in my head I'm playing like it's a real soccer. So I usually play with the assumption, like subconscious assumption, that the hitboxes are realistic. So when I like get past someone, like let's say I barely get past this guy, I might hold on to the ball because in my head I'm assuming that I'm too far away to be tackled. But then he's right here, and let's say this is about like a 3 feet difference. He just kind of lunges right here, and then boom, I'm stunned. Hitboxes are one of the biggest problems. I think that if there's anything they should fix first, it should be the hitboxes, and then yeah, maybe look into the acceleration and momentum, and then everything else I talked about. But to be honest, everything that I'm saying is like if they wanted like a 10 out of 10 game. I think that just fixing the hitboxes and acceleration and momentum would bump it up like a whole point. You know what I mean? I'm just saying like everything that's like bringing the game down. So obviously they're probably not gonna fix everything that I'm talking about, if anything. But yeah, if we're talking about like the biggest problems, hitboxes are the final nail in the coffin, because not only does it affect dribbling, it affects passing, because in this sport, the small amounts of space that you're able to create are what are important. Let's say this guy's tightly man marking him, he's jockeying, he's kind of giving a little bit of space. Let's say he kind of fakes him out and he manages to get a little bit of space on him, right? He's running this direction, but he's behind him, but he's barely open, right? He's barely open. He passes here, right? He runs towards it, and then boom, he has something to work with. But in rematch, this is just a tackle. It's just a tackle, and this is what makes the man marking and like so much worse, because these little bits of space that you create with dribbling, with passing, are all nullified by the hitboxes. Really, like they're all like, because this is a tackle, but in real life, maybe you could do like a nice little touch to the side. Maybe he's still on you, right? But you still have like something to work with. You know what I'm saying? Or even better, the way I like to play, the way I'd like to do this. Like same with here. You create a little bit of space on this guy, right? He's coming in, and then he one times it here, right? And then you're coming for the ball, and then he follows you, but he can't tackle you yet, right? Maybe he'll get extra effort in a second. Maybe he gets extra effort, but no. And then you shield the ball right here, and then he comes around you, right? And this kind of like makes the you see how, do you get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? It's just fluid. It's fluid. It removes unskillfulness. Because the thing is, in the highest level, I was just saying this earlier, in the highest level of play, players are fast at pressing. So you normally, a good dribbler, or a person with a really good first touch, can evade or can beat or evade that press, which buys time for their teammates to move into space. And if you can't dribble out of pressure, every time someone receives the ball, they're going to be instantly forced to pass under pressure. And that's if they're even able to pass. Yeah, if they're even able to pass, if they don't get tackled the second they touch the ball. Because you guys have probably noticed that all the 50-50 balls in this game are just tackling. Like, for example, sends it long, right? Let's say it like slows down around here. Like, even if you know you're closer to the ball, like you're closer to the ball than here, like IRL, like if Nagi Seishiro was right here, he would just touch it and beat them with a good first touch, because he's a little closer. I say 50-50, but it's not really a 50-50. He's a little closer. His positioning was a little better. He can touch, but no, the thing is that in this game, he knows that if he gets into the animation of touching or passing, this guy will just tackle him. So what happens is that they'll either both stand there kind of like seeing what each other will do and then tackle, or he'll just immediately tackle, or they'll or he'll just tackle before he can tackle, and they kind of both just chase it and tackle, and then when it's in the corner, it's even worse. It's just like no one can get the first touch because the hitboxes just nullify it. Like, he can't touch into space because he'll get stunned, he'll get fucked. So it's kind of just like boom, like tackle, like it's gimmicky, and I'm very passionate about this, guys. I hate the hitboxes. Okay, number one problem with the game design, probably. Like okay, like obviously all these things I don't like, but I think this is the one that gets me the most worked up, and it's definitely one of the biggest problems. It ruins dribbling and it ruins passing. So now what high level gameplay looks as a result of this, and I don't know if I should show the gameplay. I might show gameplay that shows like the high level tournaments and the gameplay I'm talking about. I think it's better if I just describe it, because you guys can look at it yourself. But I probably will when I edit the video. I probably will be showing the gameplay. So yeah, here's that if I do that. But anyway, this is what it's gonna end up looking like, right? And this is in the high level games, this is because everyone knows that all of these problems exist, so they won't even like try build it play, because when they do try like good football, they get punished for it. Yeah. So the keeper will hold the ball. No one's open. He knows that if he tries a pass to like one of the close players, nothing's gonna happen. Mostly because of the hitboxes and priority, and they'll just get a free steal and be through on goal. So they won't even risk it at this point, because at this level they know that exists. They know that exists. So he'll kind of just take it up, and if there's two options here. There's usually two ways this goes. They'll get in the box. One will be maybe to the side of the box, and then the keeper will just missile it. Low risk, high reward. If he gets priority and shoots it, he gets a goal. If he doesn't, okay, whatever. And then, or either that, or he'll missile it out here, and then if that guy gets priority, he'll missile it into the box one time. And they also have these like little set plays that they really don't work that well. But for example, let's call it like a route. So here you go. Let's say like we're gonna call this the up down route. This is what some like players will do at high level. He'll be like, yo Jerome, up down.
What, the left right? Alright. Well, I gotta get evil first. You can go back to me and then we can run it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Ready? Yeah. Go.
Alright, Trico, fake Kiki, JJ side. Fuck JJ side, so yellow, fake Kiki, yellow, fake Kiki, yellow.
Okay.
That's fake Kiki, bro.
And he will go up, and then extra effort down, and because this is like their chemistry, they know that he's gonna do this, and then he'll send it, and this guy will still be on him, right? But it might give him a slightly better chance of getting priority, maybe not. But either way, it's like little set plays like that, like where they like, or here, Bernard, do the Z, do the reverse Z, and then he'll run towards him, and then like I don't know, like what the fuck would a Z be? Okay, this wouldn't be a Z. This would be like a V. This would be a V. But anyway, he runs here, right? Brings him, and then he runs here, right? And then he extra efforts, times it, and then. There you go. But the thing is, this usually wouldn't happen because this is not a goal, right? This would not. They usually do these plays, or they basically always do these plays when it's like a goal scoring chance. Like they usually never do this in the outfield because it's too risky. That's basically about it. It's too risky because of the stuff that we talked about. And now here's the other scenario, right? There's the other scenario where the red guy actually presses the keeper. And honestly, guys, sometimes the defenders in this game will get lazy, or like in these high level games, sometimes the defenders will get lazy and they will like let openings be created. And this is usually, I mean, it could be just human error, but honestly, as far as I'm seeing, and I know like personally too, this is because they just get tired. Like, it's just annoying to just sit around and wait for stuff to happen. So they might get a little more aggressive, but this is not really important to what I'm saying, because this basically never happens, because this is in tournaments for money. But in ranked, it's a little more likely to happen, and this could cause some people to maybe doubt my problem I have with the game. They might disagree with me on some points, because in ranked, some people will literally just not want to do this. I know I don't want to do it. It's boring. I want to take risks. Sometimes in high level play, this guy will press the keeper, and then the keeper will pass to this guy, and then this guy will do that. He'll pass to here, and then he'll one time it in if he gets priority, or he'll go straight here. And yeah, he does that. That's basically the only thing he does, right? And usually this is a little further back. Like usually he would, because obviously in this specific scenario he could just drive it up and maybe go for something better. But yeah, but usually this would happen more like back here. So bear with me on that. And yeah, and if he doesn't do that, like this guy kind of checks up. He steps up here. He passes the ball here. Then he'll just run back here. He'll pass it back. same thing. And it's repetitive, it's boring, and it is not football. Okay? It is not football. And matter of fact, something that I've realized pretty recently is that like these plays they do, like this is what the gameplay is. They have these set plans where what was his name again? Jerome, up down, boom, missile it, like you know what this looks like, guys? You know what this looks like? You know what this sounds like? This sounds like American football. They're running routes and the quarterback is passing it in. High level rematch has gotten so bad that they have reinvented American football. Let that sink in. And maybe this is fun to some of you guys, but I have some background in football and soccer, so, or I say football and soccer kind of interchangeably because, I'm American. But I personally, this is not the gameplay I like to see whatsoever. I know some people actually might find this fun, and that's probably why some tournaments even still exist nowadays. Although Rematch Esports has not hosted a tournament in over a month because they don't have anyone who wants to play. And yeah, they have reinvented American football. And if your response to all that is, oh, it doesn't have to be exactly like football, it's a video game, it has its own silly style. If that's your take, I can see where you're coming from. But these are all core aspects of football. And if you change a core part of football, it doesn't work. And that's what we're seeing right now. You shouldn't try to reinvent the wheel, okay? You shouldn't try to just change or nerf or ruin a core part of this sport. It doesn't work. You don't reinvent the wheel. Okay, you can add on to it, you can maybe change some things up in a fun way that still keeps the fundamentals the same, but I do not think that changing a core part of football is a good idea, and that is what we're seeing. So, how does this all relate to the game dying? The result becomes this. In high-level lobbies, high-level gameplay is repetitive, boring, gimmicky, and not creative. And here's a response that I gave someone who I talked to about this. In the truly high-level lobbies and high-level tournaments, it is a snooze fest since everyone will man mark as tight as possible. No one will lunge, and no one will press the keeper when he comes out since there's no actual reason to. And even if they do press the keeper, it's the same thing. And it results in a stalemate where the only option is to either force a pass to an outfield player where priority and hitboxes come to play since they're so tightly guarded, or the more favorable option, force a pass into the box and hope your team can get priority and score with no risk. And then, low-level gameplay is gimmicky, tedious, and unfair because of teammates and enemies. And then the average level, like mid-level gameplay, this is probably the most fun part, but it still suffers from similar problems as low levels. It's gimmicky because all the glitches and all this, it's just weird gameplay, whether intended or not. It's tedious because of how defending can be and how attacking can be, and it's unfair because of the teammates that you can get, the enemies that you can get, yeah. And overall, it's kind of just mediocre on all fronts, right? And obviously you can still have fun on all fronts, right? That's why people still play the game, but I'd say there's work to be done to fix it for all levels of gameplay, honestly, not just high level. So yeah, and this is a really big one. This is a huge one. But queuing solo and duo feels horrible, and to be honest, it feels kind of pointless. And this goes for literally every level of gameplay. It is really hard to have fun and rematch solo queue and duo queue. And this is really important because the whole player base is not going to be people who have 5 stacks, who have friends, who have good players on their team. It's usually going to be players who are playing by themselves, maybe with a buddy, maybe with 2 buddies. The teammate situation, the enemies they go against, it can make it really insufferable. And yeah, and then somewhat related to that is that individual skill being nullified doesn't only make the gameplay flow worse, but it also makes solo queuing and carrying your team virtually impossible. So in IRL soccer, or even FIFA or Rocket League, dribbling is the most individualistic part of the game, and even if a great player was in a mildly lower level game, they could use their superior dribbling to create a winning situation for themselves and their team. Now unfortunately, Rematch, for the most part, doesn't have that, and it impacts all aspects of the game. Although, if the skill difference is huge, it's definitely possible. I know for sure that, I play with my friends who are not very good at the game, we queue against, golds, and obviously, with that big of a skill gap, yes, I'm able to easily dribble past them, because they're not very good at the game. But I'm talking about, the more mild, skill gaps, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know what I'm saying? This is really only possible if the skill gap is huge. And yeah, and this makes solo queuing worse because it makes having a weak link on your team so much worse. Because usually, in soccer, for example, if Messi had bad, Messi 2019, LeBron James 2018. If they have a bad team, they can just use their superior skill to make it more even, make it more fair, create winning situations. But if this game focuses just purely on just team and just nerfing dribbling to the ground, solo queuing is horrible. Just having a bad teammate is so much worse, and it literally makes it, it highlights bad teammates to the max. Because realistically, like in an ideal world, let's say Jimmy, he's playing in a lobby and all of his teammates are bad, but he's a really good dribbler, maybe not very good at anything else, but he could use his dribbling to create winning situations and kind of carry his team. And like I said, like if the skill gap is huge, yeah, he could do that. If it's a little bit smaller than that, then it's going to be very difficult, because even if he does dribble past one person, he has no stamina. The guy is probably still going to be on him in a second. His teammates probably aren't well positioned, and overall, it's terrible. It makes solo queue so much worse. So think about that anytime you say that rematch should be purely team play and passing. Think about that. Like, people who say that have to be just like ignorant people who only play with 5 stacks. Because if they played in solo queues, I don't know if they would have the same opinion. Or maybe they just don't know what the issue is here, right? Maybe they're thinking that people are dribbling is what's causing their bad teammates, right? Maybe they're not thinking about the fact that they could, in an ideal world, improve their dribbling so much that they can now carry their lobbies and get to the good teammates, get to the good players, get to the high level lobbies. All right. So that is about it for that part of the video. Now this is my last part of the video. I'm just gonna try to quickly address some common talking points, and more specifically, like what people have commented under my posts. Now, someone said, "Please don't listen to this. It's a football game. Pass the ball or don't play. Greedy players shouldn't be rewarded." Now, can we all see where this guy's coming from? Yes, but like I said before, yes, football fundamentally is about passing, but that is not all it's about. So just saying that pass the ball in every single situation is ridiculous. It's ridiculous to say. If you think that passing fixes everything, then you're going to have a rude awakening when you get to the high level lobbies where passing doesn't even work, dribbling doesn't work, there's no variety, and it's boring. Greedy players shouldn't be rewarded. It kind of depends on what he means by that. Like, yes, if someone is being an idiot, not passing, yeah, they should be rewarded. But I don't know what he's trying to say here exactly. Is the greedy player a good dribbler? Because if they're a really good dribbler, I mean, they should be able to dribble good, right? But if you're saying that, like I said, I don't want dribbling to be easy. So, I mean, I guess if someone's a good dribbler, they definitely should get rewarded for their good dribbling at the very least. But if you're saying that people who are bad dribblers and don't pass, or they're bad dribbling, they don't pass, tunnel visioned, and yeah, they lose the ball and it sucks for all of you. I mean, they're not getting rewarded in that situation, are they? No, they're losing. So, all right, moving on. The game was always intended to be played tiki-taka style, so of course when players find so many bugs to enhance dribbling, taking away the need for skillful 1-2s, they're going to nerf dribbling to push us in the direction of their vision for the game. This is probably one of the dumbest takes I've ever heard, and I actually saw the game use similar logic in one of their dev notes or whatever, that nerfing dribbling pushes people to pass. This makes no sense. It is void of logic. It shows low understanding of football. Nerfing dribbling makes passing worse. That is what we're seeing, and it's just the simple truth. The fear of dribbling is what makes the fear of dribbling combined with other things too, obviously, are what makes passing work. So, obviously this guy is probably a prospective 2 player. He probably goes against bad players maybe. So maybe he doesn't fully understand that passing gets worse as a result against, good defenders. But yes, like I was saying, in tiki-taka style, I mean, that's not all football is. Like, even with good dribbling, you're still gonna have tiki-taka style. Like, have you ever watched real football? Like, in real life, obviously, like, these issues don't exist, and most teams still connect a bunch of passes a game. And if they don't, they usually lose. So, I don't know. And yeah, find bugs to enhance dribbling. Don't agree with this. I've said this already. I don't think that the dribbling system should be full of bugs. It should be intended. It should be skillful. It should be effective. Okay, but really, really narrow-minded and just ridiculous take there. By the way, if you're seeing this. All right. I think it's dying because it's a meh genre and it's not free. It's hard as hell to convince my friends to play something they don't usually play, and it costing cash doesn't help at all. I promised this game would be thriving if it was free or cost less. Now this is a common talking point, and yeah, I see what they're coming from. Like, oh yeah, like they had a free weekend, right? And then the game's player count went up for a little bit, right here. But the reason that this wouldn't work in the long term is because the game is not polished. The game has, the Slow Clap has said this themselves, the game is not polished, so even if they'll gain a spike in players, they'll just lose them right after, right? So, they've said this already. I saw it in their AMA. They need to fix like the problems, the gameplay problems first, and then make it free to play. Like they do want to make it free to play, but just not yet. So yeah, it would not be. I don't agree with it being thriving. I think maybe it would add like it probably added like some more players to the game, like consistent. Maybe I'd say like probably like an extra like 2,000, maybe more honestly. I guess I can never really know, but it wouldn't thrive. It wouldn't thrive because if the problem still exists, they need to fix the problems first and then free to play. Otherwise, it will die. This like right after it becomes free to play. Dribbling before patch 3 was perfect, and it needs to be reverted to that. Now, before patch 3, dribbling definitely was stronger. It was more effective, but I think that when people say it was perfect and needs to be reverted to that, and just simple as that, I don't think that's a good observation. I don't think it's as smart of an idea as you think it is. It was definitely stronger back then, but I think part of the misconception that it was perfect is because defenders were also worse back then, because the game was out for what, 2 months, 3 months at the time, so people were also worse defenders. And nowadays what we're seeing is that dribbling's worse than it was before patch 3, and people are better at defending. That's why it's so bad, combined with all the other problems. And also dribbling before patch 3 was a bunch of exploits. So no, they need to make good intended dribbling. It should be better than it was before patch 3. It should be more effective than it was before patch 3, and it should not be exploits. It should be good, effective, intended dribbling, and that's a really big takeaway. I've said that a lot of times in the course of this video. I don't think it was perfect before patch 3. It was stronger, but not perfect. I think this misconception comes from the fact that defenders were also worse back then. All right, and here's a big one. Most dribble gods can still do a lot with dribbling. I'm not gonna really blame people for having this take, but no, they can kind of do a lot with dribbling, but it's usually against bad players, right? If you watch their clips, it's flashy, it's weird because they're spamming push cuts and they're moving the camera around at light speed, and it looks confusing, but it looks flashy. So you're gonna think that it's good and it's effective, but the reality is, if you look at the clips, you're going to notice that the defenders that are defending them are usually training cones who lunge at the ball over and over and over, and don't just stand there and wait for them to get close to them. Because I promise you that even these dribble gods and what they do could still be locked down completely, and does get locked down completely. That's why in these high-level lobbies, the tournaments, we don't see these dribbles happening. Yes, if you look closely at their clips, you're going to see that the enemies are training cones. It looks flashy, but the enemies are bad. That's why it looks like they can still do a lot with dribbling. And even if it was against the good defenders, this is still like really one-time thing. You know what I mean? Like, overall, they will not be able to do that against good defenders. But maybe one time they do it. But most of the time it's against bad players. But maybe a few times they can do it against good players. But no, I don't think that your take is fully in reality, unfortunately. All right, so this guy said they made weak players good now, and I wasn't sure if he was agreeing or disagreeing with me, but I do say in my response that I agree with him. They made what would be bad dribblers into good dribblers because of how easy the dribble moves are. Right, dribbling is too easy, and it's not effective, but obviously, like in the lower level lobbies, yeah, they made bad dribblers into good dribblers because of how easy dribbling is, and they made bad defenders into good defenders because of how easy defending is. Like, for example, some of these defenders are not even like that perceptive, that reactive. They don't have that good of defensive IQ. They make mistakes that would get punished in any other soccer-related thing, but because it's rematch, because there's no acceleration, because there's no momentum, because hitboxes suck, because you can lunge as many times as you want, and all these problems, it makes them seem like good defenders. So maybe, yes, I don't know what side he's taking here, but yes, I would agree with him. Passing and positioning is way better than spamming a glitch move until you reach the goal. If you want to make dribbling more viable, then they should buff existing dribbles, not a bug invented by a TikToker. There you go. I'm assuming he thought I was disagreeing with this, but this is basically my take exactly. Yeah, I don't think that glitch moves should be the basis of dribbling, and yes, agreed. They should just buff the existing dribbles and obviously nerf defending, the specific parts of defending that I mentioned. All right, and this one's a little bit similar to the last one. You don't need the devs to spoon feed you more options to dribble past someone. Everyone just wants to win their fights by pressing a button or two and pat themselves in the back. Not being able to get past a good defender is a skill issue. Defending is not easy because it's punishing not being able to block a good pass or a good dribble, and it's also highly rewarding being able to steal possession from greedy players. To make a long story short, you just want to be handed wins by the devs instead of adapting to the challenges presented by them. Alright, so probably the most perspective one take of all time, maybe. I mean, I don't know what he's saying about options to dribble past someone. Like, yes, we need more options to dribble past someone, but if his specific take here was about the pressing a button or two, the glitch dribbles, then yes, I agree with you. I think that dribbling should not be easy. The glitch dribbles are too easy. I'm not saying that they should spoon feed us. This is stupid. And the challenges presented by them they're not like some sort of like wall to climb over. It's like a barrier. Like it stops. Like no, like at high level, it's virtually impossible to dribble past a competent good defender. So, and yeah, not being able to block a pass. Yeah, I mean, defending is not easy. Like that's really, yeah. He's a perspective one player. He's most likely a low skill player. No offense, right? I'm not trying to be offensive, but that's clearly where this take is coming from, because I refuse to believe that anyone with any sort of time in the game would think that defending is not easy. Defending is so easy in this game, and I would know this too. Like it's so easy. All right, Ippy slide is a body feint. It's a real thing in the sport, and IDK why it doesn't have a bind or something in game. Agreed. I think me and this guy strongly agree on this. Yeah, Ippy slide is. I think they should replace the Ippy slide with an actual body feint. But yeah, it's a real thing in the sport. We should have body feints in rematch. All right. The worst part was the teammates. You can't play unless you have a full team. People never passing, but when they do, they're using R2 to pass, and when they goalie, they just try to score and never pass to the outfield players. Exactly, and we agree on this. Me and this guy agree on this. Like I was saying earlier, I think that teammates play a huge role into the shortcomings of the game for average players, below average players, and even above average players, even good players. Even like me, for example. Like, it's really annoying to have bad teammates. I think that they should really work on trying to fix that and fix the matchmaking, fix who your teammates are, fix who the enemies are. Yeah, I agree with this. And then this guy, Cap. I can do golden boosts and do those techs. Just try and create new ones instead of being stuck. So this is a blatant perspective too. I've actually watched this guy's clips before. We had an argument on a different video. All of his defenders are training cones, and actually he's not even like I won't go into personal things, but no. This is perspective too. He's saying that he can do these techs, these golden boosts. So Cap, right? No, he's playing against training cones. If you guys find this guy's TikTok, you can look at his TikToks. No. And also these techs are all glitches. So no, this doesn't work against competent, good defenders. Just because you can effectively dribble and exploit against worse players does not mean that dribbling is good. Okay, let's get that through our head. We need to have some sort of self-awareness, and I think that's really what holds people back from actually like agreeing and like seeing all perspectives here. Like this is a lack of self-awareness, because like I said before, when I dribble past a bad defender, I'm not out here thinking that I'm a god and dribbling's in a good state. Like no, I know that he's a bad player, and I know that when I'm in a good lobby, no one's able to dribble. When I see a good lobby, no one dribbles. There you go. Perspective 2. Moving on. Okay, it's not just annoying when someone doesn't pass. The game is genuinely unplayable when someone is selfish. I think most players would rather lose with a team that passes than win with a greedy player. Defending should always overpower dribbling. In fact, any skill that encourages selfish play should get nerfed to the ground or have an overpowered counter. So, this take is not in reality whatsoever. Almost certainly a perspective one. But like I said, I was saying earlier that people tend to scapegoat because of teammates. Like, the real problem here is the bad teammates. It's not the selfish. It's not dribbling. It's not dribbling. It's not the selfish play that needs to get nerfed. It's the fact that you get matchmaked with bad teammates. And yeah, like I said, it causes people to scapegoat, and it really creates even more of a disconnect even more arguing and disagreeing. That's like people like this. That's why, like, when I say my take, this guy thinks I'm insane, right? But clearly he is not. I'm going to assume. I think it's pretty obvious that he has not much experience in football, or like what football should look like, or what it plays like, or other games, or real life. Because defending should always overpower dribbling is the most delusional take I've ever heard. No, it shouldn't, because dribbling, I mean, like, in a team scenario, that's where defending can get really strong, and defending can have the advantage. But isolated, no. Defending should not always overpower dribbling. Dribbling is way harder to do. Great dribbling is way harder than great defending, I would say. At least in, like, isolated. And this is part of the reason why, like, in the Ballon d'Or, it's mostly attackers who win. And also it's due to, like, you know, just them being flashy, right? So they get more PR. But yeah, no, defending should not always overpower dribbling. This is so out of reality. This is perspective one in a nutshell. And there's no way you could have this take while having football knowledge and actually having played in good lobbies. No way. I think everything I've said in this video is a pretty good explanation of why I disagree with this. So I don't think I have to say much more about that. All right. And here's the final common talking point, or not really a common talking point, but this guy, he responded to one of my posts with this comment. He said, because you guys have heard what I've said about the game. He says, if all you need to do is stand there and do nothing, then what is stopping the player from just moving past them? The defender needs to initiate some risk tackle, in which good timing on the push ball is enough to beat them. Can you describe in more detail how these two things can coexist? And this is a very smart and insightful take. He begs a very good question, because I did not really specify what I meant, and that's why I'm making this video right now in the first place. So yeah, I'm basically just gonna read off what I said first. Well, obviously the defender's not completely static, but all they have to do is just get in their way. If they get close enough to where a tackle is 100% guaranteed, which is made even worse by hitboxes, then yes, I guess they would have to tackle. But it's not like that's very challenging or has some sort of risk. The hitbox makes it a guaranteed steal, and that's why I named hitboxes as one of the biggest problems. And furthermore, the fact of the matter is that if someone is getting dribbled past in this game, they almost certainly did something dumb, like a mindless lunge, or using extra effort way too early, or having way too much momentum going into defending someone. But like I said before, that doesn't mean dribbling in this game is good. And guys, and I'm gonna address what some of you might think after I say that. Don't get me wrong, everything I just said about how mistakes are what causes being dribbled past, don't get me wrong, that is not just inherently a bad thing necessarily. Those are all mistakes that a good defender in real life would almost never do, and that's a big reason of why they're considered a good defender. And it's also true that in real life, lots of moments of defenders being dribbled past happens because of mistakes like that. And it's also true that in almost every high-level competition, it usually comes down to those little mistakes. So, what's the difference, Mighty? The only difference between real football and rematch in this sense is that in rematch, you have basically no incentive to even make those mistakes in the first place. In real football, defenders are essentially forced into situations where mistakes can happen. Real-life defenders have to worry about so much: their speed, the attacker's speed, their defensive approach. Are they going to jockey the attacker, be aggressive? What's the attacker doing? His movements, his skills, is he going to pass, shoot? And just in general, they have to be aware of all their surroundings. And because the possibility of being dribbled past even exists, it can open up the field around them. And that is why being a great defender is seen as incredibly impressive. Now, is this stuff true for defending in rematch? Yes, it is somewhat, but also not really. Now, for man marking, in rematch, all you have to do is stay tight to someone, stay tight to your guy, and hitboxes and priority can make that duel simple if he gets past you. You basically cover the air around the guy you're defending. Now, does the possibility of being dribbled past exist for the defenders in rematch? Well, yes, but only if you lunge, and only if you lunge. And once you understand that, you can just not lunge. And because there's not a good momentum or acceleration aspect to the game, you are free to just hold defensive stance in front of the attacker, and if he even tries to sprint past you, you can just go from 0 speed to 100 in a second and stop him, even though he had the jump on you and was moving faster than you initially. That is literally what the drawback to jockeying or using defensive stance is in real life. In real life, defensive stance is great for minimizing risk of getting beaten, helps you guide attackers into less dangerous areas, it buys time, and reduces their options, but at the cost of potentially being too passive, giving the attacker too much freedom, and letting the attacker build up momentum to get past you. This simply does not exist in Rematch, and it makes good defense also not nearly as impressive. Now obviously, this specific issue is really only prevalent in high-level Rematch, and it should be fine in anything lower, but I think we should all take a step back, analyze, and make sure we give knowledgeable and practical criticisms. In real life, defenders can be forced into mistakes for a variety of reasons. But in Rematch, defensive mistakes will mostly come from a defender's own misplay, not an attacker's skill. A little confusing, but the main difference here is incentive. Yeah, that is all the common talking points that I'm addressing in this video. I am sorry if I missed some, but to be honest, this video is already long as hell. So I can only talk so much, and yeah, I don't know if someone will actually watch this whole video, or if people will actually see my whole perspective and everything I'm even talking about. But if you do, I hope that you understand, and I hope that you can at least open your mind and see where I'm coming from and help this game improve. And so we can be, we can be objective, we can be unbiased, and we can help the game get better, right? Because the simple fact is that people try to say, you're just, guys, if there were no problems, the game wouldn't die in the first place, okay? So even if you want to discard everything I'm saying about high-level Rematch and dribbling, which, would be ridiculous, obviously, but even if you wanted to discard that, they should at least fix the things that are pertaining to making lower-level games, unfun, or ruining the average player's experience. And while the average player and lower level players will try to, they will end up usually scapegoating, we should try to fix the actual problems. It's not the fact that dribbling's too strong when it isn't. It's not that nerfing dribbling would make passing happen more. It's the opposite. It's the fact that you get matchmaked with those teammates in the first place, and the fact that the gameplay relies so much on how good your teammates are. That's the real problem here, okay? For average players and lower level players. Now, everything I said for high level players, there it is. That's everything I think, and I really hope that I can help enlighten you, and you can see what I'm talking about, and maybe even agree. But yeah, that's about it. So I'm just gonna give a really super general idea of how they could revive the game, okay? And this is really, really vague in general. But first, so guys, as of right now, I am recording this video in early December 2025. I think that first they should fix gameplay issues. That's incredibly vague, but it's basically everything I talked about in the video. I mean, obviously, I don't expect them to fix all the gameplay issues, even if they did want to. But they probably won't, even if. But at least the big ones, right? At least the big ones. At least like some of them. So yeah, just fix the gameplay issues and make this game fun again. Make it fun for everyone, all levels of play. That's vague, but yeah, I think that's the first step. Now, let's say it's about December right now. Now, guys, you know what's happening in 6 months? The World Cup. The World Cup is happening in 6 months, this summer 2026. So this is the opportunity of a lifetime for a generational revival of a game. So after they fix all these problems, let's say over the course of the next 6 months, they could then make the game free to play, just in time for the World Cup. And if they wanted to go even further, because that by itself would already make this game, I mean, this game would probably be one of the most played games of the summer if they did that. Just those two. Fix gameplay issues, free to play by the time the World Cup comes around. But if they wanted to boost even more, bring even more people in, that would also be the perfect time to do the Blue Lock collaboration. I don't know if they want to do a Blue Lock collab, but I'm assuming they're at least thinking about it. I mean, that's where a big part of their player base even comes from. But yeah, imagine that, guys. In the next 6 months, fix gameplay issues. Then make it free to play, and then a Blue Lock collab on top of that, just in time for the World Cup? Dude, there you go. That would probably get this game to higher numbers. No, it would get this game to higher numbers than it was, even in the beta, even when it released. Oh yeah, and obviously, there's one more thing they need to do. They need to add more deep sea bundles, because we only have 3 deep sea bundles? We need more. We need at least 10, maybe 20. So, definitely... definitely add more deep sea bundles. I think that's, honestly, maybe everything I said in this video is worthless. I think that actually just adding more deep sea bundles would just revive the game by itself. Matter of fact, yeah, there you go. Anyway, jokes aside, if you actually watch this video or even part of it, I hope you can see where I'm coming from. I hope we can find some agreements, if not full agreement. I really do want the devs to see this video. I think that I bring up some pretty valid points, even if I didn't explain them as well as I could. I hope that a big part of the player base sees this video. I more importantly hope the devs see this video, and I really hope this game fulfills its potential, because I think this game has the potential to be the greatest sports game of all time, the best sports game of all time, at least in my opinion. So, yeah, that should be it. See ya.